share with you a photograph that I took in St Andrews. The reason I want to do this is that I posted it on my Facebook page maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I received a lot of likes and comments that the image was really quite powerful and that they enjoyed looking at it. So what I wanted to do was really just to take you through the process of developing this photograph. Not least really just to give you a view on the steps that a photographer like myself really needs to go through to produce an image that A, I'd be proud of, but E, that I really want to be able to share with folks like yourselves. The software that I use is a software called Lightroom, and what Lightroom does is that it enables me to be able to store and reference my photographs, but also to be able to develop the photographs in a way that I would really want to, so that I can actually realize the vision for a photograph that I actually took. And what that generally involves is to be able to change the cropping of a photograph, the color temperature of a photograph, and the one that you see here at the moment, for example, is very blue. Now, what that basically communicates to the observer of the photograph is that it's cold, whereas I would really like to be able to warm the photograph up, and also to be able to use the framing that I used here with the gate, looking over to the San Salvador chapel, to be able to frame the image in a way that's much more artistic and creative, rather than what you see here is just a vast amount of space. So the first step I would normally go to is to the develop module in Lightroom. And I admit to being quite lazy, in as much as one of the first things that I would do is actually use the automatic intelligence within the software to be able to give me a view of the photograph once it's processed. But you can see here that it kind of brightens up the framing, and I don't really like that. So what I'd like to do is to begin to take the photograph exposure down a little bit, but to then crop the image in a way that I'm happier with. And what you can see here is that I'm beginning to play with the cropping of the image, so that I can really begin to get a view then of the gates looking into the courtyard. And I think you'll agree that that in itself is a useful first step. But again, the photograph, as I've mentioned earlier, is just a little bit too yellow, too blue. So what I want to do is I want to increase the color temperature, so that I can begin to introduce, the warmth. And then you can see here is that that's far too warm. So I want to be able to take it back to a temperature that I'm happy with, and I like that now. I think that really heats it up quite nicely. But I'm still not too happy with the border framing. I think that that's just a bit too light. So what I'll do here is I'll go to the Effects tab on the software, and what I'll do is I'll begin to take the corners of the image and darken them so that I can get the result that I'm looking for. And again, I don't know if that's the end result, but for the moment I'll run with that. Additionally, what I like to be able to do is I like to be able to add some detail into the photograph. And what I'll do here is I'll go into another one of the sliders that we've got within Lightroom to be able to increase the just the grittiness and the feel of the image and the clarity of the image. And that's just exactly what I'm doing here. And this dehaze tool very much pulls out the contrast between the dark, the light, and the framing that I've got here. So again, that's a step towards the goal that I've got. And I'm really quite happy with that. And what I want to do is really just to finish off the image with a bit of sharpening and, just to give it that crunchiness. And the software gives me the ability to be able to sharpen just where I want it to do. And I wanted there, as you can see, really to give me the crunchiness around the lines of that particular image. So that's it. I hope that you found that useful. But you can see that to be able to process this image, there's a good 5 minutes or so just to be able to process this image. But I've done that because I've already processed it, and sometimes the actual image takes a lot longer, and I'll maybe you work from one software suite into another software suite, and again even into another one to get the results that I'm looking at. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it gives you some insight into the tricks and techniques that I use to be able to produce the images that you like. So on that note, thank you for watching, and speak to you all soon. Bye bye now.